please welcome the CEO at Minor Hotels and Group CEO for Minor International, Dillip Rajakarier, in conversation with Skift Senior Hospitality Editor Sean O'Neill.
So Minor International is one of the top 10 largest hotel companies in the world, so not so minor. It has 560 hotels and residences worldwide. Some of its brands include Anantara, NH, Alawana, Avani, several others. They had a blockbuster 2024, and we're going to be hearing today about 2025 and beyond. Dillip, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Sean. Great to be here.
Maybe we start first with a little bit of news. Yesterday, your chairman said that you're planning to have create a hotel real estate investment fund. So what are you doing?
Yeah, I think coming out of COVID, we really built up the pipeline and the infrastructure in terms of positioning us to the next growth stage. So what we're trying to do is, we are the small M. By the way, we're not the big M's of the world, as you know, and we don't aspire to be the big M. But the reason is that the company has evolved a lot, and what we are trying to do is to by creating a REIT or a real estate investment trust fund, that will help us two things. One is to reduce our debt, which is something we've had because we acquired NH Hotels back in 2018. We went through COVID. Of course, it was a very difficult time for all the hospitality players. And also, we want to use the monies for growth. So we will reduce our debt, as our chairman sort of mentioned. And then we will use the funds, the proceeds, to also help us with the next stage of our growth, because our plan is that today we have 560 hotels. 15 years ago we had 12 hotels. So I think we've really delivered on the growth spurt, but just not delivering growth, but also delivering stakeholder or shareholder value as well. And our next stage is our target is in 2 years or 3 years, we want to get to close to about 1,000 hotels, at least in the next 5 years. But a strategy which has a clear plan, and we know where the growth areas are, and we focus on that. And basically focusing on how do we leverage our relationships, because we are very different. We're not a management company. We are an ownership company, so we own hotels, unlike some of the others who just manage hotels and who really believe on fees. We don't. We have an ownership mindset, which makes us very different when you speak to owners, because we have a full alignment. So 1/3 of our hotels are owned, 1/3 of our hotels are leased, especially in Europe, and the 1/3 is managed. So we have a fairly balanced portfolio, and this is something we want to grow in the future, and use use this as a stepping stone for our next stage, where we would see at least the doubling of our portfolio within the next 5 years.
Doubling within the next 5 years, and you already have a large footprint. I'm wondering a bit. You mentioned earlier that you don't want to be the sort of like the biggest. You'd like to be the best brand. So what do you mean by that?
So I think it's not about planting flags, and cannibalizing revenue streams, and also not. And it doesn't work with owners when your owners are spending millions of dollars in terms of investing, and we feel the pain because we do the same. So it's about making sure that you are in key strategic locations where your brands actually match with your experiences, which you're going to deliver. The brands are very segmented. So we just launched our new branding, as you have seen, Minor as one brand, which will bring all our brands together for the first time ever, because we felt that we have the scale today that we can bring all our brands together to leverage on the distribution platform, where we can actually own our guests and really drive that loyalty through GHA, the Global Hotel Alliance Discovery, the Minor Hotels Discovery, and take it to the next stage. So I think from that perspective, it's not about being the largest. It's about being the best, in terms of being the best for your people, which is important because we value people more than anyone else because we say people make our brands. They are the ones who make our brands. The brands don't make the people make the brands shine. We value our shareholders. We value, of course, our investors. And then we value our partners, in different countries. Like, say, in the GCC, we've been fortunate enough in the GCC to acquire a very strong footprint. And it's growing. And we have some of the most iconic hotels in GCC. And more to come. And I was just listening to the Saudi Spurk, which is going to come. And that is going to be the next stage of the growth stage, which we see. Because today, like coming from Thailand, we see a lot of Saudis who are actually coming to us because, in the last 30 years, the Saudis were not allowed to travel to Thailand. The Thais were not allowed to come to Saudi, but that has been fixed. And we saw a big spike in terms of the Saudi tourism actually booming for us, which is great because they understand our brand. So when we come to Saudi or we are in Saudi, we are opening, we signed about 7 hotels. People understand our brands, people understand what experiences we deliver, and people really focus on the brands as well. I think one of the good things about Minor is that we started as a luxury brand, and we've now gone down in terms of creating these other niche brands as well, whether it's upper segment, mid segment, or upper segment as well. So it's very easy for you to navigate down, but I think it's very difficult for you to navigate up. When you start with a lower brand to understand what luxury means, it's very, very difficult. And that's why, I think we see some of the larger brands actually failing because they're not able to digest that. I always say, most people die of indigestion and not of starvation, because starvation is easy. You can get the cash and you can fix the problem. But when you have indigestion within your group, it's very difficult to cure.
I love that phrase. There's several points you brought up there that I'd like to dig into. So you mentioned luxury. So how is luxury sort of changing, and how is Minor sort of keeping up with that change in terms of consumer expectations?
So as I said, luxury has changed a lot. And what do you mean by luxury these days? I think it's all about what people perceive as a value when they are in a hotel or when they are experiencing some incredible story. And it's about providing that story, and it's about providing that storytelling so that people value, wow, it's not about the hard things like, the structure of the building or the gold-plated rooms or 50, 60 square meter rooms. It's not about that. It's about the soft. It's about your people, how they deliver that luxury experience to the guests. When you walk into our Anantaras, actually, you will actually know what luxury is. And if any of you haven't seen, you really want to experience luxury, then I would really ask you to visit some of our hotels. And that's where we go beyond what a guest expects. And that's what we call luxury. And today, the luxury customer has changed a lot, because in terms of expectations, especially after COVID, we look at a lot of new trends. We see slow travel. So when I say slow travel, it's about the cruises we do. It's about the trains, the luxury trains you do. And people love it because they take their own time. There is generational travel. So people are traveling in generations. So they want to spend time with the family. That's important. The new emerging trend is wellness. Wellness is becoming a huge trend now. People are living longer, and people want to, what we call longevity, and people want to live in a much more healthier way. So wellness is becoming a new trend, which also we have. And then the other one is sustainability. I think sustainability is a huge thing. Like, we see the trend today where the guests are willing to pay more for hotels which have a clear sustainability strategy, and actually delivering that to our guests as well. Like, say, for example, in the Middle East, we have a hotel in Qasr Sarab, which is in the Liva Desert, which is the second highest sand dune in the world. It's a fantastic, truly amazing hotel with so many experiences. And one of the things they do is they call it the S-Bar, which is EZBA. It's bringing the cultural heritage of the Middle East to light, because not many people understand the cultural heritage of the Middle Eastern people. The culture here is so much rich. There's a lot of things which are great, and bringing those to life and sharing those stories with our guests is amazing experience. And also, sustainability is built there because we do farming there in the desert. We do about 150 kilos of vegetables every month. We bring the local culture, the locals into the hotel, engage them with our guests. We do a lot of the experiential experiences as well.
What are some examples of like the experiential offering? Because Skift Research has mentioned that we're seeing a lot more interest in like experiential elements, whether it's especially in luxury and for young youth crowd.
How much time do you have?
maybe a couple of examples.
I think
we have some visuals of like in the elephant camp.
So this is a truly amazing experience, like where you sit in the stars, where you look at the stars, and instead of you looking at the animals are looking at you. So that's a big difference, and it's amazing, truly amazing. We call it the jungle bubbles. At Qasr Sarab, we have star glazing in the Liva Desert, which is another experience we do. Wellness is another experience we do. Getting our people involved with the local culture is another experience. And the other big one is cuisine. Again, it's about food. So bringing the high-end cuisine into light as well, because I think here in the Middle East, for example, you have some fantastic cuisine. Bringing that and showcasing that, we do have. We are quite big in food and beverage. For example, we own the Wolseley Hospitality Group in London. Everyone knows what the Wolseley is. We have about 10 restaurants. We own Benihana's, which is the Japanese teppanyaki. Entertainment, it's not chefs. We have entertainers who are cooking. And then, we have beach clubs. We have rooftop bars. We have drip bars for guests who feel.
And so the nuance here is a lot of hotel companies say that they are great at food and beverage, but you're saying you have this in-house experience from some of these great restaurant brands that you can bring.
Yeah.
That's part of for owners choosing among different hotel groups. Is that?
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. I think when you ask some of the bigger chains, they always bring consultants in to come up with a food and beverage concept. We don't.
Consultancy, and you do it in-house.
We do it in-house, and we deliver that food and beverage experience. Like, we just opened a hotel in Ras Al Khaimah, which is, again, super fantastic. Again, it's about delivering that cuisine. We have a hotel which we opened in Santorini in Abu Dhabi, which looks like the Santorini from Greece. But again, providing that luxury experiences for guests, which they will not get in any other hotel.
Will you be able to maintain your ownership mindset if you have the hotel REIT and some of the properties are moved out?
Yes. I think our plan is to make sure, even if you do a REIT, we will hold at least about 55% to make sure we own those assets, because the upside you get on your equity return is much more than the management fees you will earn from some of your hotels. Okay. So I think it's the growth, it's the revenue upside you get, it's the asset appreciation you get. So therefore, being an owning company, we will still own the REIT as well.
I'm very struck, especially by the Anatara brand. It resonates so strongly in the GCC, both among owners and among guests. And it being a Thai-based company, it's amazing that it's been able to translate. What do you think is the elements in its success?
I think it comes down to people. And it comes down to the hospitality. I'm sure, if you ask most of the participants here, they would love to have a Thai massage or a Thai spa or a Thai wellness thing, which is truly resonates with the people, because with the Thais being one of the best hospitality people in the world today, they think that they have to serve the guests instead of being served. There's a big difference. So when it's in your heart that you want to serve the guests, you want to make them truly happy, even though sometimes language can be a bit of a handicap, people forget. And people love that hospitality. And I think that truly resonates with everyone. And that's one of the reasons, Thailand today is one of the top 5 destinations in the world.
One of the audience questions is, what are your growth plans in the Middle East?
So I think growth plans in the Middle East, it's very strong. Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Oman, Sharjah, Saudi for sure. It's another destination which is coming up, which has been a hidden gem for a long, long time. And I think what we like about the GCC is that, and what I say, I have to be careful, because I think the good thing about GCC is you have leaders who are going to be here forever and who are going to really lead the country and who are truly passionate about that country really becoming prosperous, the people becoming happy, and they are providing that infrastructure. Unlike, say, if you have, like Europe, you have governments where people come and go within 4 or 5 years. So it's a revolving door. So it's very difficult to implement any strategies. But here, when you have rulers and kings and everyone who are truly focused, whether it's Dubai, whether it's Abu Dhabi, whether it's Oman, whether it's Saudi, you have leaders who are truly passionate about, focused about how do you elevate the standard of people and how do you elevate that country and making sure that country becomes a truly global destination. So I think for us, we've been quite lucky because from a cultural perspective, we connect really well because I think that's important, as we heard before, to really understand the culture of the people here is very, very important. And to be able to deliver on their expectations also is important as well. Here, it's all about relationship. It's not about signing a contract and then you're out and then you put a hotel name on top and that's it, And the next thing is you don't see the guy who signed the contract for the next 20 years until the next renewal is due, and by then he would have been fired as well. But here, it's all about relationship. I think that's important.
And a last question would be on loyalty. So you've relied heavily on the Global Hotel Alliance, which you're a member of. Are you going to create your own loyalty program? I mean, if you're doubling to get to 1,000 properties and you're in all this geographic locations, that would seem to make sense. Is that a possibility on the plan?
Not really, because I think when you look at Global Hotel Alliance, I think for us, a loyalty program has to be simple. It needs to offer a choice, and it needs to be scalable as well. And I think the good thing about Global Hotel Alliance is you have 30 different member brands who are part of the alliance. It's like Star Alliance today, where you can travel around within the brands. So unlike a Bonvoy, where you can only go to a Bonvoy hotel, or Hilton Honors, you can only go to a Hilton hotel, or IHG Rewards, you can only go to IHG. With us, you can go anywhere within that the 1,000 hotels we have and the 26 plus million members we have. But the good thing is also, you're truly experiencing all the different brands and you're getting a different flavor of hotels every time you stay somewhere else. Whether it's with Anantaras, whether it's with Kempinski's, whether it's with Corinthia, you have Nikki Beach, who are also members. So these are some key strategic hotels. And therefore, for us to be able to take advantage, it's important. And we are offering our guests that choice. And our membership program is very easy. It's simple because you earn dollars. So you don't have to sit and calculate, or you don't need a calculator to know how many points you need to burn to stay in a hotel. You have dollars in your wallet, and you spend the dollars in your wallet, and you can spend it anywhere. You can spend in F&B, you can spend in spa, you can spend in rooms, or you can spend in experiences as well. So it's a very simple program.
I personally wish more hotel loyalty programs did not require a PhD in order to understand them. Dillip, thank you so much. I've enjoyed this conversation.
Thank you.